Good afternoon, Ivans. Mahatma Gandhi, a great Indian freedom fighter and revolutionary, once said, "The earth, the air, the land, and the water are not an inheritance from our forefathers, but on loan from our children. So we have to hand it over to them at least as it was handed over to us." This quote is more relevant now than ever before, especially after man became a slave of his own creation, plastics. But what specifically makes them such great masters? What attributes make plastics dominate the earth? There are four. Number one, convenience. Plastics are so convenient to use that almost every single household on planet Earth contributes to plastic pollution. If you've ever been to the grocery store, you would have understood that every food item or any item you purchase there has a plastic touch to it. Not only this, but 94% of US tap water contains plastics, and 1 million plastic water bottles are purchased each minute, which accounts to 1.4 billion plastic bottles in a single day. Number two, abundance. Due to this purchasing and demand, the supply has gone up for plastics as well, as 400 million tons of plastics are produced each year, which end up in terrestrial environments such as this one, or aquatic ecosystems, such as the one seen in the Pacific Ocean. Number three, permanence. Plastics have come here to stay, and they will if we don't act upon it. One reason for this can be seen in Hawaii, where plastic glomerate, a new type of rock species, has been discovered, where it's been combined with sedimentary rock and plastic. These plastics have created great imbalances in that remote areas, and a single standard use water bottle takes 450 years to completely disintegrate, and balloons, they never disintegrate. So it's scary that the things that we use for our birthday parties will stay longer than we ever will. Finally, dominance. Plastics dominate every sphere of Earth that they go to: land, water, air, fire, and space. Starting with land, plastics have dominated the beaches of Earth. As every foot I take on any coastline on Earth, I will find myself with 10 plastic bags under me. Also, plastics have killed the remote species of the desert, camels. Camels are dying because of plastics, as polybozoars, tightly packed plastics found in the guts of organisms, are causing GI tract problems and eventually leading to their death. Plastics are, for the same reason, also killing whales. This is for the reason that plastics are mistaken as phytoplankton or other fish, smaller fish. Researchers predict that by 2050, there will be more plastics in the ocean than fish itself, which is concerning for biotoxicity and our future generations. Finally, plastics have infiltrated air and space. Due to the incineration of plastics, 16 million tons of greenhouse gases are emitted into the atmosphere, which is the likely cause for the extinction and the decrease in polar bears and other penguin species. Plastics have also made their way into space. Yes, space. The International Space Station and other associated rockets in NASA are now starting to be made of plastic. And experts predict that in the future, we will start to see more of what they are dubbing space bullets, which are plastic meteors that just hurl towards Earth, destroying both our ecosystems and our atmosphere. That's one shot, 2 kills. But not for the negatives. Plastics, as we can see, have infiltrated their way into all of these elements. So this makes me wonder, is there no solution to plastic pollution? Will our future generations have to constantly live in the fear of plastics? No. That leads me to my problem statement. People in low socioeconomic areas are having trouble coping with plastic pollution, but have no choice rather to use this resource due to its marginalized benefits. However, these same benefits are hazardous to both the people and the environment they live in. When plastics originate on land, the fix must also be on land before they spread to the other 4 elements of nature. So the solution to plastic pollution is plastic. Wondering how? Then watch on. Hello everyone, my name is Bharat Ram Susarla, and today I proudly present my plastic recycling bicycle and the magic of microplastics. This bike is a decentralized solution that takes into account the 7 steps of plastic. First, permanence. The bike here is permanent, just like plastics. So as long as plastics exist, so will this bike. L, localized. This solution is a localized and decentralized model that doesn't require a recycling industry to come do their job, and they can immediately and quickly act on this solution. A, abundant. The solution can easily be mass-produced and can be adapted to various low socioeconomic areas. S and T, simple and tangible. This solution can easily be adapted and is a good proof of concept as well as an actual solution that has real-world implications and not just theoretical ones that will act in the next upcoming 50 years. And I, innovative. The solution is a new solution that presents solutions to the current existing problems without creating any new problems. And finally, C, convenient. This solution is easy to use, and even the illiterate folk of low socioeconomic areas can easily ride a bike pedal and make microplastics out of this. Now, some of you might be wondering how I came up with this bike. It's as an avid junior ranger and an environmentalist, I've been to many national parks, and on one of my endeavors in Biscayne National Park, I saw the exhibit that they dubbed the Aura of Plastics. This was a plastic exhibit that contained more than 50 kilograms of plastic from their local reservoir, which pollutes both the Atlantic Ocean nearby as well as their water supply. This made me concerned on current environmental stances and made me wonder how we can fix this problem. I contacted my engineering teacher, and he provided me with valuable insight into how I can make this bike. Innovation Academy helped me out a ton. They gave me this old bike, which I repurposed into this corn mill for plastics, and I started researching how I can get cheap grinders online. And the cheapest one and the most effective one I found was this meat mincer for $7 on Amazon. It combines the meat mincer and starts grinding these larger plastics into smaller microplastics. I sent this model over to the United Nations Environment Program, who gave me critical feedback as to how I can further this and implement it for scaling up purposes and current standings. For instance, it can grind up to 1 gram of microplastics in a minute, which is about 1.4 kilograms of plastics in a single day. This is roughly the same amount of plastics that is inputted into a low socioeconomic area or a community in one day. So if every community, every state, and every nation would have access to this solution, then it could easily solve plastic pollution. What it essentially does in a gist is it converts plastics into microplastics, which some of you might be wondering, aren't they also dangerous? Because they're also from plastics, right? They are, but they have one differentiating characteristic that makes them more useful than plastics. The fact that they have a lower specific heat. They melt faster than they evaporate. This can be useful in many circumstances where plastic in Saudi Arabian countries, can be converted to microplastics, and they recently started employing plastic roads, where their asphalt and tar were consistent of plastics, which allowed them to make this trash into a treasure and converting it into a beneficial resource for them. Also, many of us don't have access to asphalt, at least I think we don't, but we do have access to concrete. Concrete can be found at our local Home Depots or nearby hardware stores for $3 for a gallon or so, which is cheap for low socioeconomic areas as well as regular public in general. So we can make plastic bricks, as I have here. These plastic bricks consist of 70% concrete, roughly 20 grams of concrete, and 30% microplastics, which are 4 grams of microplastics if the math is almost equivalent. This would mean that plastics are caffeinated in this solution where they remain and stay recycled for the rest of their life. And this will lead them to us to create a solution that can be implemented in our backyards for just making a doghouse or just a trail, or for construction purposes if implemented on a larger scale by industries. In essence, if we were to provide this bicycle to various low socioeconomic areas or industries, we could solve this plastic pollution and coffinate plastics in these bricks. I would like to sum everything up with another Gandhian quote. Remember the face of the poorest and weakest man you have met, and ask yourself if this step you contemplate will be of any use to him. I sure do believe that this is a step in the right direction. If we all implement this solution in our localities, communities, states, and nations, then we have a shot at getting rid of this carcinogen. So I urge all of us to start building our own bicycles, making microplastics, and making our bricks so that we can solve microplastic and plastic pollution one step at a time. If a local high school student can do it, so can each and every one of you. RIP microplastics. Thank you.